So I want to do a little exercise. Get a piece of paper, pop it next to you. And in a moment, I'm going to ask you to make a list. And on this list, I want you to write as many things that you're currently doing for your clients that they would need to do for themselves if they chose not to work with you anymore. There's no right and wrong answers. I just want you to make a list of as many things as you can think of that they would need to do because they're no longer working with you. Hit pause and come on back when you're ready. So here's my list. You can see there's a whole bunch of stuff in there around managing investments, monitoring, benchmarking. There's maybe stuff about budgeting. There's definitely elements of administration in there. There's keeping up to change with legislative changes, modeling, managing things, making informed decisions, identifying risks, dealing with providers, even if they can deal with providers, because I know many providers won't deal directly with clients, liaising with the other professionals. We could go on and on. It reminds me of a conversation that I had running a pricing workshop some time ago. It was an advisor in Brisbane who was part of a workshop, and we were talking about the value of advice. And he told the story of a client he was working with who one year, for just out of the blue, decided that they wanted to stop paying an ongoing fee and manage their own affairs. And this advisor challenged some of the thinking around it, but at the end of the day, the client was pretty adamant. About 2 years later, this client came back because they decided they needed some additional advice. They realized that there were certain things they needed help with. And while they were going through the process, the advisor off the cuff remarked to the client, that BHP buyback would have been really lucrative for you. To which the client said, what BHP buyback? And when they actually did the sums, they'd worked out that as a result of missing out on it, missing the deadline, not being aware of it, the total cost to their portfolio was around $70,000 in lost revenue. A really clear example of somebody who had taken on board this idea that they were going to be able to do it. But the reality was they hadn't done the things they need. They hadn't had the monitoring in place. They hadn't had the team to support them. And as a result, there was a very real demonstrative and very measurable downside to it. We could keep going on. It's not an exhaustive list I've put in front of you, and few clients are actually going to consider this when making a decision. And that's why I think it's pretty important. If you're ever having a conversation where someone's thinking, oh, I don't want to continue, make it clear for clients who are choosing to disengage for whatever reason, what they may need to do.